What's up, devils? J-dawg back to answer some more goddamn questions. Before we get to the next video in line, got a goddamn order question. Put on his order the special notes, Tim Mahler. J-dawg question. What do you think about Nergal from Behemoth telling people not to start new bands because the market is oversaturated? As oversaturated, question mark. To be completely honest with you, I actually kind of agree with that. I wouldn't say nobody start a new band. You got to have some new bands. But what I would say is, if you got nothing new, probably don't fucking start anything. Maybe I shouldn't say new because it's going to be pretty much almost impossible. Exceptions here and there, like maybe like when Acid Witch started and shit like that. You're like, oh wow, this is pretty goddamn new and unique. It's going to be very, very hard to do that because everything's been done a million times. But like I said, let's go with something that's allowed to sound or be influenced by other bands, but something that's not done that often. You know what I mean? So let's say, again, I've used the example like Putrefaction Painful Death demo. Try to replicate that if you're going to have to sound like somebody. The first Deicide album. Who the fuck sounds like the first Deicide album, like vocally, especially, like Glenn's vocals? Honestly, who the fuck sounds like the first Cannibal Corpse album? Chris Barnes' vocals on that. I literally can't think of anybody. But you can find a million fucking bands that sound like Entomb, Dismember, Grave, Carnage. You can find more bands than you can even count. Same with a lot of the black metal shit, whether it be the screechy goddamn black metal or even the extreme black metal where it gets repetitive. It's like, oh, wow, yay, this fucking again. Suffocation, Broken Hope, stuff like that, where bands just sound repetitive. It's like, oh, this again? It's like, why not try, if you wanted to do brutal death metal, why did you try kind of like replicating Agoraphobia, Morbidius Pathology, especially like the vocals on that shit? I don't think anybody sounds like that to this day. Hell, Agoraphobia didn't even sound like Agoraphobia after Morbidius Pathology. Like, I mean, Omen of Masochism and shit. I liked that stuff too, but nothing compared to the fucking Morbidius Pathology. It already started fucking changing. Try doing that. The band that came the closest to me was, and it didn't really have the same on the split, but the Cemeterian demo, Francisco's goddamn band, the side project band, the demo that came out on, also came out on 7-inch. And what was that, 2020 or whatever? I was praising that shit up, down, left, and right at the beginning of this channel as a new release. And that's still, yeah, I think one of the greatest demos in the last fucking 5 years. First band that popped in my mind when I heard this is like, it has the feel of Agoraphobia, Morbidius Pathology. That's why I fucking loved it. The split they did last year, I liked it, but it did already sound a little bit more, just kind of like more regular death metal than that. So try sounding like maybe Deceased. Try doing a Deceased. Who the fuck sounds like Luck of the... Dude, forget even Luck of the Corpse. Who the fuck sounds like Blueprints for Madness? Show me a record that sounds like that. There's literally none out there. Macabre, that's another band. So there's stuff that can be done here and there, especially done really well. Necrovore demo. Not too many bands sound like that. There's a lot of bands that are influenced by Necrovore, but I don't really heard too many that I kind of... It seems like they all failed. Every band that tries to, they're influenced by them, but I never really heard anything that I'm kind of like, wow, this really sounds like Necrovore. Who else? I mean, there's a bunch of fucking bands, but do something that isn't cloned a million times. We don't need another Incantation. We don't need another Immolation. We just fucking don't. So I kind of agree with them because usually when bands are starting up, you're like, oh, great, another Swedish death metal band, something we didn't need. Unless it's kind of Vader was one that hasn't been done too much. The only band that's come to mind that at least sounded like the first Vader record, at least their first release, I didn't listen to anything after, was Oxygen Destroyer. I'm like, oh, it's reminiscent to Vader Ultimate Incantation. So that's not something you hear every day. So that was kind of refreshing, kind of neat. But other than that, to be honest with you, what bands kind of replicate or sound like Vader, like Black to the Blind or De Profundis or Litany. I can't think of anybody that's in the vein of that. So there's another one. And people, I know some dum-dum's going to come to the house. Why try to replicate any band? I agree. If you can do something completely original, great. But the odds of you doing that is slim to fucking none. And you goddamn 18, 19-year-olds that come up like, I got something new. Now it's just you haven't heard fucking shit. You got into this fucking 2 years ago. And so you're out of the loop. You're one of those guys, you think you're in the fucking loop. Like, I listen to hard shit. I'm listening to Nightwish. Like that one fucking bozo said to whatever devil brought it up. Stupid shit like that. It's like, no, you're just unaware of that shit exists. So you're not even a qualified guy to even fucking say that. So, yeah, chances are you're probably not going to create anything new. So if you have to go with something that's already been done, at least something that's not been done 10 million fucking times. I just gave you, what did I give you? Half a dozen examples. So kind of agree with them. Questions we're going over. The next video in line is on. Oh, this should be a goddamn good one. Good one. Sideways flat brim hat canoes like Mike Majeski need a serious wardrobe scrub. They sure fucking do. Annoying as piss looking. And first one at the bottom, Jordan Selly. Question. J-Dawg, what do you think of the new Obituary album? There's a couple good songs, but I think the album is pretty average. I haven't listened to the last few Obituaries, to be honest with you, so I couldn't tell you. The latest one I heard was probably about 5-6 years ago, and I remember the biggest turnoff. It was definitely one that was on Relapse. Is I didn't like the vocals at all. I thought John's vocals did not even sound anything like him, which was kind of weird because some of the comeback albums I've heard, I'm like, yeah, it's Obituary. I was like, I don't really need it, but it's like at least sounded like Obituary. I could tell it was them. Whichever one this was, I can't remember which one it was. I'm like, this doesn't even sound like fucking Obituary. That's probably the last thing I heard. Whatever that. And like I said, it was definitely pre-COVID when I listened. I listened to the shop that it came in. The latest one that I own, and I guess although it'd be probably kind of a new listen if I listen again. It's been quite a while since I put it on. Is the Executioner's Return? Is that what it's called? It was like the second comeback album. I have an LP of that when it first came out. I picked it up and I listened to it. I think maybe like 4 times in totality. But the last time I listened to that is probably like at least 8 years ago. So it'd probably be pretty much a new listen. But I do remember liking it. Like I said, I listened to it like 4 times, and I didn't get rid of it. I remember liking it each time. So there probably is other ones if I was to check them out that I probably would like. It's just one of those things, just never did. So Ryan at Zerta 2, J-Dawg question, shitload of question marks. If being a Van Halen fan makes you a pink panty wearing tampon boy, I never said it does, then fuck, I have the full pink lingerie going on. Even the pink fucking thigh high fishnets. Love me some Van Halen. Eddie was the greatest guitarist that ever lived, and his brother Alex on drums was underrated as fuck. If someone plays an electric guitar and claims to not like anything from Van Halen, lie detector determines that's a lie. No, I never said that if you like him, that makes it pink panty. I just said I was personally never a fucking Van Halen fan. The only reason I never really liked Van Halen, I'm not a big classic rock guy in general, but the biggest thing is I just never liked David Lee Roth's vocals. They're like nails in a chalkboard. Always like, running with the devil. I was just like, oh man, I can't stand it. It's like, gives me the heebie jeebies. Fucking, but that's just personal preference. But I never said that makes you a pink panty wearing fucking tampon boy. I said that's not the heavy shit for the old guys that come in like they're fucking like been the 55-year-old guy working on his bike and all he does is listen to the goddamn garage shit when he comes in like, yeah, fuck yeah, man, I like goddamn metal, I like the hard shit, and he's never even heard Venom. It's like, what? Those fucking bozos is what I'm saying. Just don't claim it's something that it's not, is what I'm saying. Is it classic rock? Yeah. Was it influential as fuck? Yeah. Does everybody and their fucking mom in the metal scene pretty much like it, and I understand why? Yeah. Do I hate on the band? No. Do I own anything by them? No. Do I plan on buying anything by them? No. But it's just that. But you just liking them. That doesn't make you a fucking pink panty wearing tampon boy. But your statement there, yeah, I got the full pink lingerie on. That reminds me of Scott from Cyanide's comment when we were hanging out in Detroit. I was telling him the Dawn of the Dead line for Sodom. Don would always say, always to this day, Persecution Mania. No, dude, that's the gay album, that gay thrash record. He's like, in the Sign of Evil and Obsessed by Cruelty is when they were a death metal band. Then they turned into this stinky thrash band. So I guess Scott never heard that. I thought that was like common knowledge. But again, he doesn't live over here. He's not one of the Cleveland guys because everybody over here in Cleveland like knows that's Don Stanton. I know that. All my brothers knew that. Fucking Kanye knew that. Dwayniak fucking knew that. Mike Hughes knows it. Like literally everybody knows it. You know what I mean? All the Cleveland guys know that's Don Stanton. They all disagree too. And so I'm telling Scott, I brought it up like assuming he already knew that. He's like, What? Persecution mania in a gown? It's like, if that's the case, give me all the dick I can handle. So that's what your pink lingerie reminded me of. So it was pretty goddamn funny when he said that. I was like, hey man, just what he said. I was like, Altars of Madness also to a gay album according to him. What? That's what I said the first time I heard it, but I was like, whatever, man. Metal Mistro, another hootie band that I fucking despise. Oh, you mean hootie, but hoodie. That I fucking despise is Matchbox 20, all over the radio back in the day. What's your thoughts? Laugh out loud. I know the name, but I can't place the name with the tune skis. But I mean, for starters, if it was on the radio, it's already got 99% chance I'm not going to like it. I mean, I can pretty much count on one hand how many bands on the mainstream radio do I like. Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Judas Priest. Who am I forgetting? I mean, I don't Iron Maiden. At least back in the day, in the '90s and shit, when I was hearing the radio, going to school or my dad, they didn't even play stuff like Iron Maiden on the radio. They didn't even play. I never, as a kid, heard Iron Maiden, Motorhead. They play Metallica on the radio, so that's one. Never heard Slayer on the radio. If they do now, because if I'll say, yeah, they don't play Iron Maiden on the radio, I know somebody's going to be like, what are you talking about, dummy? I hear them every day on the radio. They might now. They did it in 1995 when I was 10. Even before that, in fucking 93 and shit, when I was about 8. And hearing my dad listen to Black Sabbath stuff. I heard Sabbath, Ozzy. They would play Metallica, like I said. AC/DC, Priest. Never heard Megadeth or anything like that. So that's kind of a, if they do now, because I think somebody said they do. It's like, I can see that, yeah, now, because it's like, that shit's like all old. So maybe it'd be two hands of bands that I like they play now on the radio. But Matchbox, yeah. I know the name. I'm sure it's fucking complete awful ass fucking garbage. Go to Tantra. J-dawg, you a fan of extremely heavy, brutal death metal band Paris Hilton? Sure am. I mean, I know the name. Isn't that pop singer? Don't even know exactly. It's hanging out with Matchbox 20. Know the name, heard it, because I'm sure it's some commercial ass fucking garbage. But I can't say, like, if somebody put it on, and then I'm like, oh, I heard this. Yeah, this is garbage. People are like, who is it? I'm like, I don't know who it is. I just think it sucks balls. Mike Violet. J-dawg, question. Will Hell's Headbangers re-release All the Macabre? Question mark. No, we will not. I've asked to. Actually, before Carnival of Killers came out, I was throwing around the idea of doing the new Macabre and the back catalog. I was talking to their manager, Rodney. It was right around the time when we, like, after Dahmer came out, we did the double LP, double picture disc. So that was, what, at least 10 years ago? And just not, it never went anywhere. It's just I'd taken offers, but it's, what is it, Nuclear Blast? Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. We just got a bunch of reissued, repressed Macabre stuff in. We got like Dahmer, the Carnival of Killers new album out, and Murder Metal. But when I at the show that I just saw them last over the summer, remember I showed you guys my I bought the reissue Murder Metal LP that was on Nuclear Blast. I believe it's labeled out. I'm pretty sure it's Nuclear Blast. Dennis the Menace told me that they're reissuing the whole back catalog because I already had the original Murder Metal LP, but the reissue was on a different color and the cover looked fucking better and they had different. I was going to buy it and I had all three of them, all three guys sign it there. Showed it on camera when I was at the Tommy's Festival, and Dennis told me that straight then and there that he's like Nuclear Blast supposed to be doing the whole. He's like, they paid us. He's like, so they when they gave him whatever deal they signed up for the new record, they bought the whole back catalog too. So at least some of it's out because we literally just got it in like a few days ago. Just went online Friday when I'm recording this. So no, they beat us to it. But if you need it, it's out and Hell's has some of it. Inike Wellish. Hey J-dawg. Tim Death Demon from Down Under. Great having a daily black / thrash / grind / show daily. I'm an old school death metal head. Remember Destruction, Sodom, Bathory EPs coming out and loving them. Anyway, do you like comic books? I loved them as a fucking kid, and to this day, I'm sure I still would. It's just I don't have time for basically another hobby. What is your favorite character? My favorite, the one I collected back then as a young kid, is X-Men was my favorite, and I liked the Punisher as well. And then my favorite characters, I like the Punisher character. I liked Wolverine was my favorite character, and second would probably be Gambit, followed by also Cable. Cable, who was like X Factor. That's who I was a fan of. I checked bands you mentioned. Please check out live show on YouTube by Humiliation Death Metal from Malaysia. What? I know that name. Found them on YouTube. Found them on YouTube and love them. Thanks, dog man. I'm using my sister's email. All right, thanks for letting me know, bro. Joe Dinkins. I bought Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism when it came out. I hated it and still do. I was like, what the hell? It's all weak. Tons of high end, standard tuning, and totally wimpy compared to death metal. I like Immortal stuff after that album, but I didn't like Diabolical Pink Panty Mysticism at all. I haven't listened to Diabolical in a while, but I remember not liking that one either. I remember not liking Pure Holocaust either. Um, my favorite and the first one I liked was Battles in the North, and then that up to pretty much all the comeback shit. I liked all of it. At the Heart of Winter, Damned in Black, Sons of Northern Darkness, all those albums I liked. Blizzard Beast, great. But Battles in the North is my favorite. Pure Holocaust, I remember that's kind of like where they kind of developed their sounds, but I just remember the song kind of blurring together and just being boring and repetitive. Could be wrong. It's been years since I heard it. Diabolical Mysticism. I remember when I first heard it, I'm like, I'm fucking bored. But it's been well over 10 years since I've listened to it. But yeah, I wouldn't say I hated it. I was just like, I'm straight up fucking bored stiff. So never went back to it again. Like I said, well over 10 years. RJCJ Rock, question marks. Not sure if you know this. Emo is short for emotional hard rock. It started in the 80s with bands like Rites of Spring and Embrace. Later, the genre became more indie rock influenced in the 90s with those bands I mentioned. All right, yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't know that, but to be honest with you, it's none of that stuff I follow, so it's kind of like just didn't really pay attention because it's not really my wheelhouse. Myzothea666, question time. Speaking of reindeer blood, never got sprayed with that, but got a face full of pig's blood at an Archgoat show. The smell was hideous. What's the worst smell you've ever experienced? Well, it's definitely fucking not Jankum, aka butt hash, like some of the goddamn complete low lives, I guess, do from what I hear. What is that, just like a third world country thing? Can't say I've ever smelled that. Worst smell. Mm, I don't know. I mean, I've never been in a situation where there was something completely appalling, like around a bunch of dead bodies or anything. Um, so maybe I've been lucky to where I haven't had anything completely drastic outside just regular stuff that everyone's had happen. Jacob Brockman, hey J-Dawg, do you have a favorite Skinless record? First album. That's everybody's favorite, bro. If you don't think the first album's best, to me, you're out of your fucking mind. You can maybe argue the second one because the second one's good too. But what do you say with the third album? I don't even can't remember. You gonna say that's better than the first? No fucking way, Jose. I don't even think you can even take a toll on that. That would just be an incorrect statement as far as I'm concerned. Mike Violet, holy shit, J-Dawg. You never seen those old music videos by Immortal? Brah, brah, you have to see them. They are hilarious. Well, I've seen Blaskarath. Have you seen it? Mighty Raven Realm, whatever. I mean, they're just on the mountains and shit playing. I didn't think anything was silly about it. But I guess there's others. I never seen the others. I just saw, yeah, the Blaskarath. And they're just in their corpse paint makeup or on the Battles of the North era, like from that album cover that they have that appearance, playing in the mountains in the winter cold. And I mean, it wasn't like completely awesome, but I didn't think anything was wrong with it. Andy Zuleta, Beast of Warlust has been on the rotation lately. That will kick out the posers right away. J-Dawg, question mark, on the leprosy promo picture, look at Rick Ross. What would you call that haircut? I can picture the photo. It's got the pink fucking overtone. Um, I can't think of what his haircut is. Is it kind of like where he's got the bangs and shit? I'm trying to think. I mean, from what I'm remembering, it wasn't particularly awesome. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I don't know if it tops fucking Tom G's bowl haircut. That's got to be the worst do I've ever seen on a grown ass man in my life. Man, that's a total fucking dude. If I saw a grown man wearing that, that's a goddamn get out of here, nerd. Fucking here's your school lunch in your fucking face. I mean, that screams fucking nerd. Oh, this is a good one here. Evan Wilson. Hey J-dawg, have you listened to Mortuary, Ghoul, or Massacre? Question marks. They're both great Morticia worship bands. That's kind of ironic you fucking asked that. I just saw that question mark. We'll make this last one. Massacred. I just listened to for the third time today. They're from Argentina, right? It was my buddy Dan Earl that recommended it. We happen to have them in the shop. The CD that we have in stock, at least that we had, I don't know if we still have in stock. I picked up my copy. Is looks like it's just 2 demos on there. It sounds exactly like Mortician. I fucking loved it. They're a band I'd be into to signing. We're not really taking too many signings at the moment because we're booked, but I'd be into signing them. I don't know if they have an album out. I got to look it up. Metal Archives. I haven't Metal Archives them yet. Probably do that right after this goddamn video, to be honest with you, so I remember and see what other shit they have too. To be honest, because I really liked that. Just thoroughly enjoyed it. Literally sounds like where Mortician picked up right after Reanimated Dead Flesh, and specifically Reanimated Dead Flesh, because there's literally songs on the album. I'm like, whoa! I was like, this sounds like songs off Reanimated Dead Flesh. So it sounds like, yeah, right. Mortician just picked up where they left off. Shit. If Mortician does a new goddamn album, it's like, fuck, this band might sound more Mortician than Mortician does. Mortuary Ghoul, it's funny, isn't that the band from Indiana? The main guy, and I can never remember this fucking guy's name. He comes up to me all the time. Put in the comments, goddammit. I know he used to watch Hellcast, and he came up to I met him twice now. He's told me his name. He's into like MMA and shit too, and working out. I saw him at the Mortician show actually here in September. That was the last time I saw him. And then I saw him like a year or two prior to that. And Craig introduced me to him because he was watching Hellcast, and so he knew who I was from that. He told me, I'm pretty sure it's his band. I'm starting a Mortician project. He's like, I think it was Mortuary Ghoul. It's like it's total Mortician house by the cemetery worship. I'm like, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome to me. So yeah, I'll send you a disc or a shirt or something. He said, and he never did. But that granted, I mean, I'm not too surprised whenever people say that. I'm calling you back. I'm like, no, you're not, dude. They never do. So yeah, still waiting on that disc/T-shirt. But I don't know how Metal Archives that too. See if there's actual a release that's officially out. I'd definitely be interested in hearing it because the name still has like Mortuary Ghouls. It's a pretty cool fucking name too. So haven't heard it, but kind of know who the member is and hung out with them for an hour each time talking to them. And again, it's just I'm horrible at fucking names because I literally, especially now with the channel, I see the names every day and I see all the order slips names. Names blur together to me like a motherfucker, which is kind of weird because in my teenage years, in my very, very early 20s, I used to be extremely good with names. So somebody tell me their first name when I first met them, knew all the names of kids in my class. I just heard the name once with the face. I remember it. Now it's like completely the fucking opposite. I got to hear it like 20 fucking times. Hung out with you and made memories basically until I fucking remember the name. Just because I think it's just because I see so many different names that just all blurs together. So, comes with you know the book of put the God podcast, answer break in the morning. Later, goddammit.